So something like one way I could do this is I could go through like my commit history and kind of just like look and see like maybe what files I've added, which ones I want to change. So, I could delete my cat model. I could delete my cat controller. In the user.rb, I added this code, so I could just delete it. Oh, I can't delete in this edit mode. This is like a read-only mode. But I can kind of just come in here and see like, what I've done. So I could remove this in my home.js and in my routes. So I got some routes files, and then looks like my seeds. This is just all going to be a part of like, this would be deleting my model with delete this file. I could also remove this file.
Can you run the server so I can see what the front end looks like?
Yeah, let's just do this really quick before we delete it. And I'm just deleting this one specific part. Why is that not? And then CD6. Have so many of these version like, oh, I guess I'm not into 6. I just CD into 6, CD into. CD into client and start my React. So this is where we got yesterday or last week. So, I'm getting a 500 error, so I can just refresh. So now I'm getting a 401 error. So my token's not valid because it's the 401. If you ever see that 401 error, that's probably that error is like, you're not, our token's not valid. So let's go ahead and log in. And there we go. I mean, that's essentially when we get this back, we are getting back our user with just like cats, but we really haven't done much with this. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, and I think this is going to like, just so we can like kind of start over with this, at least the cat parts. Yeah, I'm going to go back to VS Code, and I'm going to go ahead and you don't need to do this. You could actually, if you want to, you can just like watch, and then you can use your, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this back to like a starter project state, and then you can use your starter project to clone down, or you can use the one I'm going to push up to GitHub. So you can just watch this. You don't need to follow along this part of me just deleting all of this stuff. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and delete my cat model. I also want to delete my cat's controller. And then what else did I want? I want to go ahead and also, I have this one migration. I could do a Rails D migration, but I don't know the name. It has a weird name. So I'm just going to go delete the file. So if I go to my database, I want to delete this migration file because I know I don't want to add this column just by default, so I can delete this. Cool. I can go ahead and remove so go to my seeds file, go ahead and remove the cat stuff. And then that's also right here.
Are you getting it to where your starter project, like the beginning of your starter project before any changes have been made, or you're just deleting a little, or you're a little after that?
I'm deleting it to go back to where it's just like a generics. I'm getting rid of all like the special cat Tinder features.
Okay.
So it's just going to be like a starter project. Cool. So I don't need all of this user, like this cat stuff in the user model. And in like my home.js, I don't need any of this. And then, yeah, I could go compare. That should be deleted. That's deleted. I got rid of that. I'm just kind of making sure I kind of got rid of everything. Oh yeah, my routes. I want to get rid of that stuff in my routes. So we got rid of that one. My schema will be fixed when I remigrate. I got rid of my seeds, got rid of all of this stuff by, cool. So I think that should do it. I'm just going to do Rails DB drop just to make sure there's no issues. DB create, DB migrate, DB. I could do a Rails S-P 3001. So let's log in. Home protected. Like I don't have the like cats on there anymore. You can log out, log in. Cool. So now I think this is a good starting point. Like this is a good like starter project. Now this project is called like Cat Tinder Spring 22. I actually don't want to call it that. I'm gonna, once again, this is just something I'm doing for myself. What I want to do is I want to copy, like this in my mind is my starter project. So what I want to do, and if I look at my DPL demo folder, I have like a starters folder in there. So I want to like put this into there. So I could copy or I could just move it. So I instead of copying, I'm just going to move it into there. So I'm going to move my cat. So I need to give it the rel. So I'm in my DPL demo. So I could like print working directory. So this is my path where I'm at right now. So I need to go find this cat Tinder. So that's in week 6, cat Tinder 6, spring 22. And I'm moving this folder into my starters. And I'm going to call this like starter, versions. Let's just do Rails version 6. Yeah, I just broke that. I'm actually going to close this. This can like, I'm going to close VS Code too, because this can like mess stuff up if it now because I moved it. So now it's going to think it's in like different folders. So I can cd into starters. There's the starter React version 6. So all this command did, it's just like essentially like I was in my Finder and I took that folder moved it to the starter one and renamed it. I'm just doing it with terminal. So I think this is one of the ways you can start to get comfortable with terminal, is stop relying on like your Finder window and try to do stuff with terminal, like try to move around files and folders with terminal. So let's just see if this works. I don't know, I shouldn't have to run yarn, I don't think. See if there's any issues. Cool. So there we go. So now I have, and this is better well organized. Now I have this project on my computer called starter, React Rails version 6. And so now this, if I do like a git remote -v, what should I probably do with this remote?
Remove it and add a new one.
Yeah, because this is now like pointing up to some like cat tinder one, which I'm kind of just going to redo. So yeah, I'm going to remove this remote. Get remote rm origin. Because now this is not, now this starter rv6 is not associated with any GitHub repo, which is good. I don't want that to be that way, because I want to go in right now and create one.
If you're no longer using it as the cat one though, because you just moved the file and you're not like copying it, so you don't really need the remote in GitHub. Can you just change the name in GitHub or like delete repos from GitHub?
I think the thing, yeah, this is a little strange because I'm just kind of throwing away that project. Like I kind of undid what I did, and like now I'm just saying it's a starter project. So in this case, I would probably, just want to go delete the GitHub repo because I'm not going to use it anymore. Or I could just leave it on my GitHub and just have my GitHub get all messy. But now I have this starter React version 6 that is now going, now it has this remote. So if I do a git remote -v, now it's pushing up, now it's linked to that remote, that repo I just created. So I could do a git add -m. And then let's call this init. Master. And there we go. Cool. So this is now one starter project. Now you could have multiple different kind of these starter projects. You could maybe have some that like have React Bootstrap, or you could have different starter projects that utilize different UI libraries. Maybe you have one that has Bootstrap, maybe you have one that has Materialize. You definitely don't want to because you don't want to have a starter project that has both like Bootstrap and Materialize. You just want to pick one. But you could have two different starter projects with kind of different features. You could have one without authentication. Maybe you have a starter project that has no authentication. So sweet. Now, something I think you should add to your starter project is a README. And the README should be the instructions on how to clone it and get up and running with it. You could also add things like, what libraries do you have in your starter project? Maybe you could document some special things about your starter project just so you know how to use it. Okay, so I'm going to Slack this out, and then as we're going through this, let's add to the README about how to use this. So what I need to do is I need to open this up in code, because this is something I'm going to now want to change on my starter project is the README file. And, I might want to say like just a description like this project, it has devise token auth, React router, just some of the main features that you have, etc. set up. You might even want to include, uses Rails version 6, Ruby 3.0.2, I think is what we use in this one. Yeah. Some kind of more info about the project. But what you're really going to want to have is like kind of like this getting started. How to use. Let's just try to do this now without actually doing any of the code. So let's try to do it in order, but if not, that's fine. We'll figure out the order. But what kind of things do we need to do to use our starter project?
Erase the repo.
Erase the repo?
Yeah.
Erase, or I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say remove remote. We don't want to erase the repo because the repo would be like the starter project, but we do want to remove the remote. I think
You have to clone first, or is this assuming you've already cloned?
Yeah, no, this is all the steps we need. So this is one of them, but yeah, that's not the first thing we're going to want to do definitely is clone. Git clone. Now this one, I actually even know the URL. I could come in here and I could copy this. And I could get specific. Now this, I might not know. I don't know what they're going to call their project. So I'm going to say, hey, put your project name right here. I could even get pretty specific and say, hey, after you clone it, CD into it. I'm going to just we could remove the remote here, but I'm going to have Git stuff in its a little separate section. Because there's definitely going to be Git stuff we're going to want to do for all of them. All right. And yeah, we could also think about it as what are the Rails things we need to do, and React things, stuff. Kind of break it up into those. Yeah. That's cloning. Yeah, what about like, what kind of, let's think about the rel stuff. What do we need to do with rels when we clone down a starter project?
The bundle.
Yeah, bundle. Let's just maybe
How to do the yarn.
the yarn is the React side. And here I can maybe even make a note like CD into client. Like remember React stuff, we're going to need the CD into client and do the stuff. What other things? And yeah, so yarn. What other things do we need to do with like rels or any of these? I guess the order doesn't really matter right now, but just we need to do bundle. There's one kind of big thing with the rels that we need to do. Or a couple more things, but remember there's this step of, let's just do this as the first one, like renaming our database in the database YAML file.
I don't remember that actually. How do you do that?
We'll look at that. So when we clone down this, we're going to have in our config, and let's do more direct path. So config. We have like the database name. I mean, this database is just the way I did it. See, this is cat Tinder Spring 22. And that's fine. I need to like rename that anytime I clone this down. Why? I think more, why do I need to rename this?
Because wouldn't it interfere with the other databases?
Yeah, exactly. If I keep cloning down this starter project, then I might have multiple projects with the same name, which that's going to be the same database. So it's not going to work. It's like you can't have one database for 5 databases. It's kind of, you know, impossible. So I just need to give it a new name, which in a sense will create a new database. So one project, one database. All right. Then yeah, then we could run like bundle. And then we could do like a rels db create. And I could maybe even throw here db seed if needed. Applicable. I don't know, that depends on yours. And I can even get like, you know, how do I start my server? Like this is something I want to throw on here.
S-PE 3001.
Yeah. Because my starter project, we have it set up, you know, where our Rails server runs on 3001 and our client runs on 3000. So yeah, for our React stuff, we just want to make sure we're in a client folder. So here we could do a yarn. I'll start. There's really nothing else we need to do here. Or yeah, our Git stuff, we want to remove the remote. So, and yeah, I could just type in this git remote rm origin.
Does this starter have Bootstrap?
This one doesn't. Yours might. You could definitely have one that has Bootstrap. This one does not. I don't think. Or maybe it does. Actually, this has Bootstrap. I don't know if it's actually, it like has the Bootstrap library, but it's not set up. So I'm not using it in here, so. All right, so we remove remote, we could create new repo. GitHub. And we would add the remote. Git remote add origin. Then whatever that SSH link is. And then we're pretty much good after that. So now this is, so to me, this documentation is part of the README of the starter. So this I would want to push up to my starter project. So I made a change. I'm going to add -m README push origin master. And then if I go to the README, see now this this starter React version 6 now has this nice documentation about how to use this project. Except why is it not? Oh, it's not showing the project name. Because it doesn't like this. Let's do this quote. It's making that like disappear. Cool. So now let's go ahead and go through these steps. So I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to CD back. I'm going to go into, actually, I want to make a directory. Call this week 7. And this will make this easier to find because now I don't have any projects inside of here. And now I can just kind of like maybe even take this README and my terminal kind of side by side. Have a nice little list of the steps. So I want to get clone into project name, except I don't want to call that project name and I don't want those quotes. That's just like was documentation to say, hey, like give this some project name. So this can be like, let's call this cat Tinder final. Can CD into that project. And maybe something I should add in this real stuff is like make sure you do this in like the project directory, like the root project directory. But so let's go through these steps. So we want to rename our database in that database YAML file. So open this up in VS Code. Now for your README, you might want to be a little more descriptive about what you need to do here. What I really need to do is I need to rename this line 26. This development database, and I will need to rename this test database line 60. And, you know, probably should just rename these three as well for like when we're just like doing homework and stuff, we don't really need to worry about the production name, but this might become an issue once we actually push to production. So I want to like change all of these, you know, wherever essentially it says cat Tinder 6 spring 22, I want to just switch those. So I could do that manually, just kind of go through and like find these. But I will say this, line 26 and 60, those are the ones you definitely need to change for your homework. And this one definitely, this is the most important one. But let's just find this string by highlighting it, doing a Command Shift F, or sorry, Command F. Command F is going to find this in our file, and then I can replace this with whatever name I want. So this can be cat Tinder final. I can just go through. I like to do this one at a time just to make sure I'm not like replacing anything I don't want. And you know, this one I might, just to kind of keep with their convention, maybe I do want to keep this uppercase. So I could call this cat Tinder final. I mean, that's not actually. So that's this step right here, renaming our database. Save that file, close out of it. Now I can run bundle. Now I can do my rels, db create, db migrate, db seed. This one I do want to seed because I actually have, in this file, I do actually seed 2 users. So that is kind of applicable. So go ahead and seed it if I want those 2 users in my database. Sweet. So now I could do like a rels s -p 3001. All right, now I can do my actually, I'm just going to do my git stuff right now. So I'm going to, before I forget, to remove the remote. So I'm going to get remote rm origin. So now this is, I'm doing this because I don't want to, now I don't want this cat Tinder final project to point to my starter project. I want it to have its own repo. So I remove the origin. I'm going to create a new repo for this. Let's do a new repo. Oh, that's not getting employed. That's fine. Let's have that name. So now that's done. Now I have, like, if I do a on here, I do a, oh no, that went the wrong way.
I have
If
a
I do
question.
yeah. Sorry, was there a question?
Oh yeah, sorry, I accidentally muted myself. If you were to like, say you named your repository, like you messed up the name or something, and then you want to go back and rename it, would you have to then go back and remove that remote and then add a new remote?
I am not sure. I would
Just
have to-
because the name might be different.
I'm not sure how to rename a repository on GitHub or what that does. I would definitely need to Google that.
Would it be better to just make a new one?
Um. Pro. No, I mean, there's got to be a way that where it would be bad, or I mean, if it was like right off the bat, like I just misspelled this. Yeah, I should probably just go, like I could delete this repo, remake one, because it shouldn't be
Yeah.
SPP to do. Like I could just delete it, rename it, or create a new one. But with GitHub, I can't like, you wouldn't want to do that with a like an actual repo, because like, let's just look at like React.
That would mess everyone. If you're sharing that, that would mess everyone's repo up.
Yeah, and then you'd probably like delete all of this stuff, like all of the issues, the poll, like you delete all of this stuff on it. So yeah,
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
yeah, you probably just want to rename it. And I don't know how to do that. I'd have to Google that. I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's like not. But I don't know if that would like, yeah, would that change the name of the remote? I don't know. Because then that would
Yeah.
also screw with people. You'd have to like let them know, hey, I renamed this so the remote is now different.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if this was an actual project, what I would do is I just like create, just spell this right and start over from like right now. But cool. I don't really care about that being misspelled because I'm going to only use this today. So yeah, I can now commit this. I mean, this is not really setup stuff. This is just GitHub stuff. Maybe throw this in my starter project, but the point is I have now I have like these are two different repos. I have my starter project that we just pushed up, and now I have my cat Tinder project. So now I can start doing my cat Tinder stuff on this repo, and my starter project stays the same. So if I try to open up like my cat Tinder in VS Code, where did it go? Is that it? Okay, I guess I did. Like, this README should not have like stuff about how to start this. It should not have these instructions. This should be like, I mean, I could probably leave this stuff if I wanted to. Be like an awesome app to find cats. It doesn't really make sense for the cat Tinder app to have like these instructions. It's like, no, that's not what this app is. Not a starter project. It is, an awesome app to find cats. Yes, I can say this uses Rails version 6 and 3.0.2, stuff like that. But my starter project, I definitely want to have these instructions. Does that make sense? Now they start to diverge. I guess I also did not do my React stuff. So that's easy. The React stuff's pretty simple. Just cd into client, run yarn to install all of the JavaScript packages required for this project. And then do a yarn start. Okay, so now I forget if this is part of my seed user, but let's try. Let's log in this user. Cool. Looks like that was one. Log out. Cool. So now I've cloned down my starter project. I called it Cat Tinder. And I'm ready to start doing like that specific stuff for that specific app. Questions on this?
The one thing I'm gonna need to do is change my Rubies to V6, right? Or not my Ruby, or is it Ruby or Rails, whichever one it was?
Yeah, we're using Ruby on Rails version 6. I actually did find a workaround for version 7 to fix the problem we did have, or I should say Henry found it, but I don't think it's that hard of a fix. I still want to use version 6 for now. Just it's more stable. Like, who knows what other issues we might arise with version 7 of Rails. And it's not like we're using any of the new features of version like Rails version 7. So I'd say for now, let's just stick with 6. And yeah. Cool.
I'm cool to wait until lab time, but I am having some issue with my logout function that I can't track down. Every time I click the logout button, it says, it gives me a 404 and then the error pops up that I hard coded in. But I don't know. I don't know where to fix it. I've been trying to chase it down. Can't find anything.
Well, let's actually, let's take a break. Because what I want to do next is so now I've created the starter project. We've cloned down to Cat Tinder. We'll take a break, and then we'll kind of spend a little time to review, like not add any code, but just review like where our starter project is at, like what features do we have, and mainly we'll be using that time to review authentication. So we can take a break. But I can stick around if there are questions. I mean, Steve, we could look at that if you want to right now. But let's come back for the rest of you who just want to get away. Come back at 10:35. And Steve, you can take a break too if you want. It doesn't.
Oh, I just feel like it's something really simple. Would you mind snooping around with me real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
I'm going to step away for 1 minute.
Okay.
But just, yeah, share your screen. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's fine.
That's a nice little sticky note you got.
Yeah, dude, I gotta finish these. I'm embarrassed. That was a while.
I've never seen that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, the stickies are really helpful. It's just like a pre-built thing in iOS. So just go into your applications and you'll see the stickies.
I like that.
Yeah, right there. You can use them. They're handy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Definitely.
Yeah, good to have you back.
I was just doing the has many throughs yesterday. I'm like halfway done. I just need to finish that out, but I haven't even got to do this the Cat Tinder project yet. So
Yeah.
I'm getting caught up on that.
I don't think you have to worry so much about the cats part. The cats part's just like an example, but it's really just about building a solid starter.
So that's kind of what the second homework was over the weekend, just building a starter and getting it ready.
Yeah, that's probably what we're gonna finish up today.
Okay. All right, I'll be right back.
I'm not the instructor.
Okay,
All right,
I'm back.
I'm back. I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
All right. Okay, so let me show you what happens here. So I'm assuming this error is correct, right? Because there's no token, which it checked for. when I refreshed.
Okay, log in.
Log in.
Okay,
and I
so
get-
refresh right now though. Okay,
Is that bad or is that what it's supposed to do?
well, like that's you have because well the thing is you have a valid like you logged in, you should have a valid token.
Oh, okay.
So refreshing shouldn't break it, right? Because your
Mhm.
token should still be valid.
Okay.
It's like the same thing if like you were to close your browser and reopen it,
Right.
it should still go there probably. Like it's kind of obnoxious you'd have to log in unless it
okay.
were like a super secure app.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, with this, what's really let's just go to your I'm pretty sure I know where this is going to be at. Let's go to your index.js.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Let's let's wait because I kind of want like everyone to see this.
Okay. I want to see if I can. I won't say anything, but that's where it is. I want to see if I can track it down.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Well, actually, and then let me see your app.js. That could be another place it could be. All right. Let me see your fetch user. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's wait. This is a
You can use this as an example if you want.
yeah. It's a this will be a pretty simple fix though too.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna take a break for a second.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, I'm gonna step away too.